the Joe Salem Show with Minnesota Golden Gopher head coach Joe Salem and KSTP sportscaster Larry Burnett. Now here's Larry Burnett.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Joe Salem Show. This afternoon, the Gophers are taking on a Michigan State team. Last week, they took on an Ohio State team, and things didn't work out too well. 35-10, the final there. Joe, let's put the cards on the table a little bit here. There's been a lot of innuendo, a lot of talks about your future, about Tim's future, about Bruce Vandersaal's future. What the heck's going on?
Well, it's interesting, Larry, because I think I got back from Columbus, and I pick up the paper to find out what's going on myself. Right. And I think a lot of that stuff is rumors. I know Tim has said, well, he didn't know if he wanted to play under the circumstances of what might come about next year. I said, hey, let's wait till the season's over. We'll talk about it. About my future, we have to wait and see what happens. I assume I'm going to be here next year, and I'm planning on being here next year. And about Bruce's future, he came in and we sat down and visited a little bit a couple weeks ago, and he's going to come back in after the season. I think when the season's all over, we sit down and talk about it in a realistic fashion, and when you can evaluate the program where it's at today and what has to be done, then some decisions will be made, whatever they are. I don't think anybody knows. But in the meantime, it's like I say, it's interesting picking up the paper every day because you never know what's going to happen, what's happening in your own life. I think that's the fascinating part about it. And when you look at you know, the situation, and when you see the papers trying to you know, say this and say that, and when you know yourself that some of it isn't true, right. You know, it's kind of funny every morning. So we always enjoy, I think, our coffee in the morning over what's happening today.
I imagine, though, it makes things a little difficult when you look at recruiting and things like that, because somebody who says, I might be interested in Minnesota, well, I don't know what the coach is going to do. I don't know who's going to be there. Do you have to sort of end some of the rumors and say, yes, I'm going to stay, no, I'm not going to stay?
Well, as far as I know right now, I plan on staying unless something is done from another aspect of it. So we're going ahead and working and doing everything just as, you know, as everything is normal. We don't like recruiting with a 6-game losing streak under our belt. That's not the easiest job in the world, but I think a lot of people understand what our situation was this year and what has happened to us. And I think we've gotten publicity certainly around the Midwest where people know the story. It's not like the team just folded up and couldn't do anything. I think they realize that you can't lose, which we were at one time, 13 starters. And some of the backup people have not even practiced this year and expect to have as good a football team. And I know Tom Barron, our fundraiser, was down in Columbus last week, had a chance to visit with Woody Hayes, and he says, oh, yeah, he said, those injuries are tough. He remembered a couple of years he really had some serious ones. He lost 4 starters. Oh, and so when he talks that number, even he couldn't comprehend it. Coach Schembecker from Michigan even called, and he said, in all the years he has been in the Big Ten, he's never seen anything like it. So it's just been one of those freak years. It's happened to us. We're living through it. We're going to make it some way, somehow. So we just keep working. I think things will work out for us.
Okay, you lived through Ohio State last weekend, a tough one, 35-10. We'll take a look at those highlights now. You talk about them because it wasn't that bad a game.
Well, right here you see Jimmy James gets a good rush on Tomaszak. He runs him out of the pocket. He tries to throw long, and Glenn Cardelli's back there and picks off the ball, and we take over on the 13-yard line. We made some yards, had to punt from this situation, and here you see Tomaszak back to pass. He hits John Frank over the middle. Rick Wittes misses the tackle on man coverage, and John goes into the end zone. So that on a 20-yard touchdown pass, I made it 7-0. Tomaszak again fakes, throws out to Anderson. Great catch right there. That's about as good a catch and as real good a throwing ball as you're going to see, and you can't do much about stopping those. Here's Broadnax, the big fullback, up over the middle. He tried to get in there. I don't think he was in there on that one, but I think the official didn't see it right and gave it to him. Here again you see Mike Hohensee out to throw a ball. Here he finds Alan Reed down the middle. And here Jim Gallery comes in and kicks the field goal, makes it 14-3 at this time. Tomaszak back to pass again. Finds Jimison down the middle. We miss a tackle, miss another tackle. And this becomes a 44-yard gain, and gave him good field position. Here you see Jimmy Gale, their fine tailback over left tackle. He gets in the end zone on a short gain, makes it 21-3. Here's a kickoff return by Alan Reed. We had some good kickoff returns against him last week. Alan comes up, we get a good hole. And that's a 32-yard return, and that was a halftime with Ohio State leading us 21-3.
Now, a lot of people were surprised you came up with a running game against Ohio State.
Well, that surprised us. We didn't. We went down really with the idea that we were going to try to run. We had some draw plays and try to take the pressure off Mike Honsi the best we could. And I think they were expecting to pass a little bit more than what we did. But we felt we had to hold on to the football and try to get some running game going. We were able to do that. We had 180 yards rushing, and we rushed for more yards than we passed, which is really unusual. But it helped us some, and I think our line did a pretty good job blocking, and we got some good running from Valdez Baylor and from Alan Reed.
Okay, let's take a look at the second half highlights now. We pick it up in the second half. First possession for Ohio State. They've got the football.
And this hurt us because they came out, and this is Spencer on a big hole up the middle, and he makes a 20-yard gain to the 2-yard line. And then Spencer will go in for the touchdown, and that's at the start of the second half. So it's 21-3, and they come out and drive it 80 yards and make it 28-3. Here's Honsi on a fine play again to Alan Reed, and that was a 21-yard gain. Here you see Mike Honsi on our bootleg, keep the football. He picks up 13 yards on a run, gives us a first down. You see Mike Honsi again avoiding a rush, makes really a fine play on the run and just made things happen. Finds Dwayne McMullen in the end zone, and that made it 28-10. There you see Broadnax over left guard. He's a 240-pound fullback. He's bigger he's bigger than tackles, I guess. Here's Tomaszak on a keeper on left end for the touchdown. Good fake. Comes inside. Gary Glenn can't get there. Kevin Kellen tried to get there, but that made it 35-10. Here they kick off again. Gary Glenn this time on the kickoff return. This one goes for 30 yards.
Were you doing some different things on
Yeah, we changed. We used the sideline return instead of our wedge, and he was able to get some good returns. We changed our blocking scheme for it. Here's Alan Reed off tackle. Squirts through the hole and gets 13 yards on it. Here you see Mike Honsi on a drive. We're down there close this time. Throws the ball. It's intercepted on the 2-yard line. And he returns it to the Ohio State 19-yard line. Here you see Tomaszak. He's back. And he gets sacked by Rene Capeau. And then you see the field goal attempt.
The controversial one, huh?
Well, it was controversial because the score in the game was out of reach, and that was with about 3 minutes to go. And I think people said, well, he's trying to pour it on and do something. I guess it's against coaching ethics, but I think in our business, we didn't pay attention to it. The guy didn't have the leg to make it anyway. He said he wanted to practice it in live, under live conditions, which is all right, I guess. If he wants to try it, that's fine. And it wouldn't have made any difference. I think the only thing is we either win or lose. Whether you lose by 3 more or not, I don't know if that makes any difference. But that's life in this business.
Okay, we're going to put some of the Gopher players under live conditions when we bring them into the studio here in a little bit. We'll be back on the Joe Salem Show right after this. Okay, time to talk with the Gopher players here on the Joe Salem Show. Our guest this afternoon, Steve Bish, the offensive tackle for the Gophers, and we'll be talking also with Craig White, one of the defensive backs who's going to be in a new position when he gets into the game this afternoon against Michigan State. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, Craig, of course, played some safety in junior college and some in high school, I believe, didn't you, Craig? And right. He went in the game and played pretty well for us last Saturday down at Ohio State, so we made the switch for Rick Wittes and put him back there and hope that he can slow down some of those swift Michigan State receivers.
How do you feel about it, Craig?
I'm comfortable back there.
Just comfortable?
Sorry.
We got a lot of time to fill there. You need to give me longer answers. No, it's a different kind of a thing. You got to sort of look over everything instead of just covering your own area, don't you?
True. You have to make the defensive calls when they get the signals in from the sideline. So it's a little strain on you. Nothing big.
A lot of pressure, huh?
Little.
Michigan State, a team that does a lot of things, and I don't think anybody knows exactly what they do well because they've been down and down and down. But it's a team that plays pretty decent football. What do you think?
I think so myself.
We better go over to Steve here because we're getting short answers. What do you think, Steve, about this Michigan State team? Defensively, they do a lot of good things, don't they?
Well, looking at them on film, I'd say that they have a lot of good athletes, and they do what they're supposed to do well, as far as assignments and such. And so they play good defense. They don't give up that many points usually. It's bad breaks and stuff, I think, that's beat them most of the time.
What's the situation now, the status of the offensive line? Because it's been in and out, like a mash unit all year long. Is it somewhat solidified at this point?
Well, we've got I'm back, and Keith Gerke's been playing well, and we've got 6, 7 guys I think that can go, so we should be in good shape there.
So you're probably, Joe, I guess, in better shape now than you've been in several weeks.
Well, Larry, we are. We got quite a few of our players back, and of course, Steve hasn't played since the I think it was Michigan game. He went out early in the ball game with the sore shoulder, and of course didn't play at all last week. So we got he came back, and that helped us some. And Todd Hallstrom's been playing a little bit better. Of course, Humphreys and Rasmussen have been healthy, and Chris Bennett, of course, is filling in for Ed Olson, which he's been doing for the last couple of weeks. But we've got some of the people back, and we're a little more healthier than we have been. And that's kind of the plus side of everything. Is some of the bodies are starting to filter back in. And we actually didn't get anybody hurt last week, although I thought that it might be a bad day because their turf was so hard. It was like playing on concrete, and that's usually when the bumps and bruises really come. But that was something, again, one of those strange things that nothing happened, and we didn't really come out with any injuries.
Craig, you go against a Michigan State team that's going to start a freshman quarterback, but there's a good chance you'll see 2 quarterbacks. How do you prepare for a team like that?
Well, we just stay back and try to do our best and read the quarterback. Most of the times with freshman quarterbacks that are starting the game, he'll let you know where he's throwing beforehand. But like a veteran quarterback, he'll look you off, then look back the other way and throw back the other way.
Not you personally, but defensively, do you try to put some pressure on him? Do you blitz every once in a while and see what he's made of?
Well, really, I don't know what Coach Vandersall has in store, but we're going to just stay back there, keep our coverage, and stop the long pass.
Is he not telling us? Does he know, really? He's just not telling us?
We know Michigan State's in town, so we're not really going to tell him anything, I think. Right, Craig?
Right.
Steve, a quick question here. The team has been down for several weeks. Every time I go into the locker room, it's, well, we've got to get up after this one and get ready for that one. You look now at 2 games, Michigan State and Wisconsin at the end of the season, which look like good possibilities for wins. Attitude-wise, where is the team at?
Well, we've got a lot of players back, like was said before, and it's the last 2 games for a lot of people on this team, so everybody's getting fired up, hoping to come out a winner.
I think a lot of people don't realize it, but the game tonight is the last home game of the season and the last home game for a lot of guys, a lot of seniors.
Well, it is, Larry. Of course, we got our senior introductions before the game as we go through all the ritual of getting the last run on the field. And unfortunately, we have not done well the last 2 games since I've been here. We've lost those 2 all the time. Hopefully, we can turn that around and get a couple wins and get things straightened out. But Michigan State's been tough on us. They've got some good athletes, and for 3 years, they've handled us and beaten us. And sometimes we've been favored and haven't come through. I see. But we had a good week of practice. We hope that we can put it all together today. Okay,
let's hope things get together tonight and you can head on to Wisconsin and get things going to finish out the season well. Steve Bish, thanks for being with us. Craig White, thanks for being with us, and good luck against Michigan State. We want to take a look first now at the Big Ten standings, and here we are, over here at the Big Ten standings. So let's take a look at them now, and there they are. Michigan up top, and it looks as though Rose Bowl bound.
Yeah, Michigan wins 1 game, and they play Purdue this week. If they win it, they'll play Ohio State in the final, and it won't even have any bearing on who goes to the Rose Bowl because Ohio State plays 1 less conference game, and that's going to be their downfall, I'm afraid. I think Michigan will win this week, and then it's going to all be over.
Yeah, they just always seem to end up there, don't they?
Well, they're the same 2 back on top again. Never seems to fail, but people make a run at it year in, year out, and of course Iowa knocked them out of it last year. Michigan wasn't there, but the league has got a great deal of balance this year. It's been a tough league.
Okay, let's look at the next 5 very quickly. Indiana, Purdue, Northwestern, Minnesota down there, Michigan State. A lot of people have called this one the basement battle, the battle for the bottom. I doubt if you're talking to your team in those kind of terms.
Well, we're not, Larry. Of course, I think at the start of the season, neither one of us expected to be at this point at this time. But funny things happen during the football season, and here we are, and we just hope that we got to fight our way out of the thing and not be in the basement when the thing's all said and done.
I think it's going to be a dogfight, and we're going to come back and talk about that Michigan State team. The Spartans, coached by Muddy Waters. We've got tape, and we'll look at it right after this. Okay, time to talk Michigan State now, a team that has only won 1 game so far this year, a team that is coming off a loss to Northwestern, and you know how that feels.
Well, we sure do. Yeah, unfortunately, we sure do. They're a team that has had a tough schedule. They played Miami of Florida, they played Notre Dame, they played Michigan. The first part of their first 5 games were very difficult. They played Illinois early, and in doing so, they were in every game. Defensively, they played tremendous football. Offensively, they made mistakes and have been unable to really get the kind of score that's going to take to win. And yet, on the last possession of every game, when they had the ball to either run the clock out and get a first down, or they were trying to go in and score, they could have won 6 of those 8 losses that they got. 6 of those could have been wins.
If they had just held on to the football.
Yeah, well, if they could have held on, or if they could have gone in and got a score. At Wisconsin, they go for 2 and don't get it and lose by 1 point. So it's been a very frustrating year for them. And, of course, the loss to Northwestern came down. Northwestern scored in the last 20 seconds to beat them on really a fluke drive, so to speak. I mean, when you look at it, the whole thing on film, you just shake your head and say, I wonder how that happened. But they're a team with really fine athletes. You know, they've just had some strange things happen to them. I think they're a little bit frustrated like we are from that aspect. You never know what the Northwestern loss will do to you. I know it, you know, it wipes you out. It's very difficult to get yourself back after that. We found that out, and I'm sure Coach Waters has had his problems trying to bring that team back. And whether they come back or not mentally, nobody really knows until, of course, you kick off. But it's been a tough year, but they're a much better football team in their record, and I really look for a whale football game with them.
Okay, they did some things well, some things not so well when they played last week at Northwestern, so let's take a look at the highlights now and see what they did well and what they didn't.
Okay, this is Tony Ellis, their tailback, picks up a 10-yard gain here. Here they're down by the goal line. Again, Ellis goes up over the top for 6 points, and Michigan State's lead 7-0. Here's C. Schwab, he throws back. Darrell Dixon steps in front of the play in the end zone and intercepts the ball. You see Urema here now, their freshman quarterback. Play action pass, he's back to pass. He was 11 for 12, and then they took him out and put the other quarterback in, John Leister. Fine catch there by Ted Jones, who broke all the Michigan State receiving records, I believe, last week. There again, Urema. Touchdown pass to Otis Grant in the corner of the end zone. So they made it 14-0. 2-point try. And he goes again. Here you see Ricky Edwards. This fine tailback, he had 177 yards against us, and he had a pretty good day, and he broke a few tackles there. Breaks another one. Oh. Great run. Great run. The kid weighs about 160 pounds, and you wonder how you can hold up with it all, but that's a 45-yard touchdown run, made it 21-17 as it put Northwestern in the lead. Here you see Ellis now on another touchdown run. Gets up inside, just bowls his way up and keeps going and keeps driving. He goes in and again gives the Spartans the lead, 24-21. Trying to run the clock out now. Ellis, they got the ball, and he fumbles the darn thing. And they recovered. Here you're going to see Cunningham, their strong safety, come up and hit this receiver. Ooh. Look out. That's what college football is all about right there.
Like
what
the
a
Iowa
hit.
game there.
Here's the winning play. A throwback pass to the quarterback, if you can believe this. The guy hung the ball up in there, and he made Sandy Schwab made the catch, and with 20 seconds to go, they kicked the point, and Northwestern's got its second conference win. And
third of the year.
It's their third win of the year, but second conference win. And Denny Green's done a fine job down there at Coach Waters at my expense, I guess, or however you want to look at that.
Very quickly, talk a little bit about your team, because you've got some players back, and as we mentioned earlier in the show, you're a little bit healthier than you've been in weeks.
Well, we are. Steve Bish is back, and of course going to start at right tackle. Todd Peterson is back and is going to start at linebacker for us. Peter Nigerian is better and will probably play, but he's not 100% yet. Fred Orgus is back, and he's going to start at defensive end. Tony Hunter is back and is going to start at tailback, and I think that makes a great difference, deal of difference in your attack and what you can do. But some of the players got healthy, and we were able to get some, you know, we're picking things up now. So hopefully we can get a few more back next week and get ourselves back close to being full speed anyway.
Nice to be back on the good foot for a change. We're going to come back and we'll take a look at some of the Big Ten games, and we'll have our picks for you right after this. Well, we might want to get a little funeral music behind us here, because we did not do too well last week. And taking a look at the Big Ten games, let's see what our ratings are at this point. Oh, boy. 25%. Both of us 1 of 4 last week. Jimmy the Greek, don't worry about us.
This is almost embarrassing.
This is getting bad. Luckily, the season is coming to an end, and we don't have to worry about this a whole lot more. But we got to worry about it this week. So let's take a look at the Big Ten games and see who we like. Purdue and Michigan. Any question there?
Well, I don't think so. I think Michigan's playing. If they win this game, they go to the Rose Bowl, and I think they'll beat Purdue. Michigan's really playing well now, and it's a good football team.
Okay. What about Indiana and Illinois?
Well, I'm taking Indiana. I think I always find it so hard when Minnesota goes to Indiana to win at Indiana that I just think it's got to be the same way for other teams. I keep picking Indiana. They always lose their home games. I'm going to take Indiana.
I like Illinois. I think they're ready to really get things going towards the end of the season. They're looking for a bowl bid, and they need to win to do it. Okay, what do we got next there? Ohio State and Northwestern. We both like Ohio State. No question about that one. But we differ on this next one, Wisconsin and Iowa.
I'm going to take Iowa. Iowa, of course, I think has got a good football team, and they're playing at home.
I think Wisconsin has been kind of a surprise team, and I think they're going to surprise Iowa. So we got a couple different ones there. Maybe we'll get a little bit better as this season goes on. Who knows? We want to remind the folks at home that we will not have a Joe Salem show next Saturday because we will have Prep Bowl 1 for 1982. That's Saturday, November 20th. We'll have all 5 high school championship games. You'll see all of them in their entirety live here on Channel 5. So that ought to be one exciting Saturday filled with football. And talking about exciting Saturdays, briefly, Michigan State, a team you take on tonight and a team you need to beat.
Well, that's right. It's a game I think we can win. We've got to play well to do it. But if we get our act together, so to speak, and go out and do the job, we got a chance to win it. So we've had a good week of practice. I think we've got a good game plan. We're just looking forward to it.
Okay. You folks out there, by the way, are not through with us yet because we're going to come back the week after the Prep Bowl. And when the season is all over, we'll do a season wrap, talk about recruiting and things like that, and see where this whole situation stands now with the Gophers and the coaching staff and who's going where and who's doing what. So we hope you'll join us then. Don't forget, Prep Bowl 82, November 20th. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, goes all day long, and you got all the championship football games you could ever want right here. They'll be played at the Metrodome, and we will have the exciting action for you right here on Channel 5. So join us for that, and then join us in 2 weeks when we'll have the closing segment of the Joe Salem Show. We'll take a look back at the Michigan State game and the Wisconsin game, and we hope you join us. Get out at the Dome tonight and watch them take on Michigan State. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Joe Salem Show with Minnesota Golden Gopher head coach Joe Salem and KSTP sportscaster Larry Burnett. This has been a pre-recorded presentation of KSTP Television.